Right.
I heard star and I was like, pardon? And I couldn't get her to do it again, and it was really frustrating. It took about a week for her to do it again.
Right.
But that one word did come out with the sign, and that's where it clicked for me as well. It was like, this really works. Like, the two first signs she learned that she was showing us was more and probably star.
Right.
And they were her first two words.
Wow.
So star was her very first word. But like I say, a week or so, nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, the word more came out with more.
Right.
And the sign for food, because she loves her food. She's the little foodie adventurer, as we call her on Instagram.
Indeed.
She has her own Instagram. And those words came and they were the first signs. So then I realised as her speech started to develop, it was all in line with the signs that she learned. So the first few signs she learned were the first few words she spoke. And it was just incredible and fantastic, and made me, all those hours of watching Mr. Tumble and watching the lovely Singing Hands ladies. Another shout out to the Singing Hands ladies who come up through Down Syndrome Northeast and do a show for us every year, because Caroline Turner, that you met on an earlier episode, she organises for the Singing Hands ladies to come up. And the kids love those shows. So the Singing Hands ladies do lots of Makaton signing to lots of different songs. So they do it to lots of nursery rhymes, but they also do it to pop songs. So it enables the children to stay with them right through as they're learning to talk, and, and they want... So Lucy still loves a nursery rhyme. She's 3.5. Right. But I can see in a couple of years' time, knowing the way she is with music and dance and stuff, she's going to get more into the pop songs.
Indeed.
And the fact that they do those is great. So all those hours of sitting watching YouTube, Singing Hands, and watching Mr. Tumble and going to Lee's Community Kids classes, it all paid off. It was worth it. And the
like you say, landing all those building blocks, all those support things, so that all the tools are there. It's just her having the right moment in her development, in her inner self, having that confidence to do it. And she does. Yeah. So, looking forward, at some point she's going to go into school.
Sorry, yes, you were asking me about nursery and school and stuff, weren't you? So we kept Lucy in private nursery the year that she could have been in school nursery, because she was so well settled, and she still felt, because she's an August baby at 3, she felt very young to go into a school environment, because she would have been 3 in like 2 weeks when she would have gone into school nursery. So we kept her in private nursery, and then we've continued to do that really by holding her back a year.
Okay.
So when she turns 4 this August, she should be starting reception. Okay. Which I think probably is a bit like your preschool that you were talking about.
Well, when I was different myself, I started, a lot of kids started school probably 5.
Yeah.
But when I was a boy, I started at 4.
Well, they do now start reception at 4. They can do school nursery from 3, reception from 4, and year 1 is 5.
Yeah. So I did. That's kind of roughly, maybe my year 1 primary, I was 4. Wow. So I did it, I was a bit ahead.
Yeah. Well, what we've decided to do for Lucy with her being an August baby and having Down syndrome, it was kind of a no-brainer to hold her back a year. So instead of starting reception in September, she's going to start nursery, school nursery in September. So she gets used to the school environment before she goes into reception. She has a year in school, but it's a nursery year where, again, she gets that opportunity to develop her language more and develop her, she's already counting 1 to 5, no bother. She absolutely loves, nursery rhymes with counting in. So she's counting 1 to 5, which the lady from the school she's going to that came to one of the meetings at nursery recently was a bit like, wow, you're doing our job for us. Like, she's going to be ahead of some of the, the other kids in nursery. But that's why we do it. So the charity that I talked about in a previous episode, Positive About Down Syndrome, they're a national charity, and they have specific Facebook groups for the stage you're in. The stage you're at, they also do what's called PEGS, which is, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's to do with early development learning. So it's basically like a kind of carbon copy of what Lucy Sendos, Portage, and speech and language therapists have done with her from birth. So that from a few months old. It's basically it's lots of videos that show you how to help your child build those building blocks with, you know, lots of focus on language and numbers and things like that, and whose turn is it, and memory games and lots of things like that that help our children to learn. They provide that in an online way. So, because there are parts of the country where they're not as lucky as us, where it's a fight for them to get that portage help or get that speech and language therapist help. We're very lucky in Newcastle. It's a very well-organised, well-oiled system that does, as long as you get those referrals early on through your paediatrician, you'll get that support in place early on, and you'll be doing a lot of the stuff that Positive About Down Syndrome help people with. We were doing it in real life as well as I did it online as well. So I watched the videos and learned how to help Lucy myself. And that's all the building blocks that enable her when she starts school nursery in September. She'll be in a similar place to the other kids around her that are actually going to be a year younger than her.
Right.
But she'll be in a similar place to them.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I'm holding her back. Because she's roughly, so at the moment she's just over 3.5. But, you know, again, we're not supposed to make comparisons. But if we do,
it can help.
A lot of where she's at, education-wise, is roughly about a year behind. She's about a 2.5-year-old with maybe even slightly, you know, maybe even a year and a half behind, because she didn't learn to walk till she was over 3, and her speech and language is slowly coming, but it's still, you know, she's up to sort of 3-word sentences. Yeah.